A good and pleasant day to all of you out there. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, your host, and we will do our best to give you a meaningful, information-filled program today. This being October 28, 2020. It's a Wednesday, middle of the week, and I do hope that you are all fine or at least coping and somehow managing stuff even in spite of all of these challenges of the pandemic. Speaking of challenges, that will generally be the tone of our show today as we speak first with Mr. Sergio Ortiz-Luis. He is the president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, to find out what's the situation as far as his members are concerned, his associates, the business community, because at the moment, I believe the government or the IATF is pushing for staggered work hours for businesses. And my only comment is, ngayon lang, we mentioned that many months ago, many businessmen and even CEOs had said that many months ago in the face of the challenge of transportation and moving people from one place to another. Many businessmen said dapat mag-staggered schedules tayo, dapat meron tayong 2 or 3 shifts, etc. But the prevailing mentality is slowpoke is best. Sabi, dahan-dahan, konti-konti, hinay-hinay, medyo naiwanan na po tayo. And then we hear people saying, oh, the economy will die if we don't move. Well, if you had moved earlier, baka naman we would have been in a better situation. But sorry, I don't necessarily agree to better late than never, because sometimes when you're late, you never actually take off. But let's find out from Mr. Sergio Ortiz-Luis what the sentiments of the real businessmen are. Now, after that, we will speak with Professor Guido David of the OCTA Research Group and find out the details of their current analysis, which is pinpointing danger zones or hotspots regarding COVID-19, and the fact that the government, or at least the government spokesperson, automatically, I guess it's automatic for Secretary Roque to defend or challenge anything that may seem to cast the government's actions or activities in a bad light. Because the OCTA research is saying may mga lugar po, there are areas that are high risk, and regarding the opening up of transport to one seat apart is going to result in increased number of cases, sabi ni spokesperson Harry Roque. And then, di totoo yan, because experts namin ay mga tunay na experts, mga medical experts, etc. Well, we will find out who is right and who is wrong. And it's not really a question of who is right or who is wrong. It's a question of whether the number of cases will rise or fall. In any case, after that, hopefully we will get a brighter, better picture, I hope, with the president of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, a group that we have been supporting and promoting because gusto po nating manumbalik yung marami, yung libo-libong mga trabaho all over the Philippines as far as tourism is concerned. But the question is, given all of the challenges, the concerns of the mayors, governors, etc., gumagalaw ba ang turismo? May pag-asa ba tayo dito? Is it a positive outlook? We'll find out from Christine Ibaretta, President of the HSMA. In the meantime, ito po ang front page ng Philippine Star para sa inyong hindi naabot ng dyaryo sa mga, pero naabot naman ng Signal TV. On the top of the front page, you have Metro and 6 other areas under GCQ for November. So the rest, yung buong buwan ng November, GCQ po ang National Capital Region, ang province ng Batangas, province of Lanao del Sur, the city of Iloilo, Iloilo City, Bacolod City, Tacloban City, and Iligan City. So technically, what does that mean? It means that there will be no mass gatherings, walang mga sine, walang mga concert, yung mga simba, mga misa, controlled pa rin, konti pa rin ang papayagan. I think only 30% according to the IATF. That in essence, and of course, the prevailing curfews. Now, furthermore, to the front page, if you would, mega task force formed versus corruption. If you listen to the speech of President Duterte yesterday, sabi ni President Duterte, gusto ko buong government, lahat ng ahensya, lahat ng departamento, silipin, imbestigahan, i-check, pumalaman kung may corruption or may reports of corruption. Well, napapasingho tuloy ako kasi medyo common knowledge naman yan na hindi naman major, pero meron pa rin. Ano? House panel recommends PhilHealth RAPS versus Duque Morales. Okay, recommend PhilHealth RAPS versus Duque and Morales. Yung mga congressman sinasabi na kasuhan si Duque at saka si Morales. Every ano na lang yata yung ano yan, the flavor of the season, lagi na madalas yan. And then the good news, PhilHealth releases 500 million as partial payment to Red Cross. The death toll for Typhoon Quinta, umabot na po ang 4 ang namatay dahil kay Typhoon Quinta. There are still 13 missing. Ito yung official, yung unofficial tends to be even higher, ano? And then ito po, siguro yung Ombudsman suspends DOH and Bureau of Immigration officials. At check natin yan, pa-follow up natin yan. Rodi to Pinoys have a meaningful undas, pero para po sa inyong mga babaero o mga nanglalaking mga misis, mga unfaithful, at saka unfaithful ka na, walang yaka pa, inaapi mo pa yung kasama mo sa bahay. The Philippine Star featured a story, psychological violence, okay? Psychological violence ay na-determine ng Supreme Court was enough reason to sentence a cheating husband from 6 months to 8 years imprisonment. Okay? So yung mga marami tayong alam na ganyan na mga babaero. Anyway, let's move on to the news as we have more content. Let's go to the stories behind those headlines. First up, we have Justice Department Chief Menardo Guevara is once again tapped by President Rodrigo Duterte to lead a task force which will look into corruption within the entire government. The first was a task force created in August which investigated PhilHealth. It was led by the Department of Justice and also included officials from the Office of the Ombudsman, Commission on Audit, among others. In his address yesterday, Duterte said that he will focus the remaining years of his term in eradicating corruption. Next story, the death toll from Typhoon Quinta reaches to 4 after 2 persons drowned in Negros Oriental, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. NDRRMC earlier reported 2 fatalities in Cagayan Valley and Quezon. Both also succumbed to drowning. 13 people remain missing as authorities have launched search and rescue operations for these missing individuals. Over 77,000 people or 22,000 families fled their homes during the height of the storm. And last but not the least, PhilHealth has finally released a partial payment of 500 million pesos to Philippine Red Cross. This is in payment for the swab tests that the Red Cross conducted on overseas Filipino workers and frontliners. PhilHealth President Dante Giran said they are now speeding up the processing of paying the remaining balance of around 600 million pesos. Last October 15, Red Cross suspended its swab testing after PhilHealth failed to settle its debt amounting to over 1 billion pesos. Ayan po, no? Yan po yung mga storya, the inside stories or the main stories on the front page of the Philippine Star. And from here, let's go on to our first interview. And before I ask him, bring him in, I just want to give you a recap of what's going on as far as the business community is concerned. DOLE, DTI, and DILG released a joint advisory urging local government units to ease curfew hours and business firms to adopt multiple and staggered work shifts to further open the economy. In theory, staggered work hours mean different companies will have different starting and finishing times instead of having all workers arrive and leave at the same time. Kumbaga, nag-uumpisa kayo ng alas 8, alas 9, tatapos naman kayo ng alas 5, alas 6. Eh, nagkukumpul-kumpulan kayo sa mga sakayan ng bus, sa mga sakayan ng tren, at dyan sa mga main roads katulad ng C5, EDSA, SLEX at NLEX, okay? At iba pa. In any case, when work hours are staggered, the flow of traffic can go smoothly. You think public transportation can be used better and the physical and psychological toll of traffic can be lessened. Eh, ang problema po, hindi na traffic. Tanggap na nating may traffic, tanggap na nating may parusa sa traffic. Eh, tatanggapin ba natin na kada sakay mo, papunta ka sa public transport, yung isang paa mo nasa hukay kasi baka ma-COVID ka. Okay, we will now go to our first guest, Mr. Sergio Ortiz-Luis, President, Employers Confederation of the Philippines. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Cito, to our listeners.
Okay, ano ba ang reaction ninyo dito sa joint circular na ito na finally recognizing the idea or suggestion of some CEOs that we have staggered working hours?
Well, to begin with, urging is okay. No, I don't think they can make it compulsory and come up with schedules that fit all. It can't be. Different companies will have different situations. Like for instance, some companies will have shuttle. Some companies will have made arrangement already with the employees on what time. Some companies provide their own vehicles for their companies. That's why we're having horrendous traffic. No? So I think it should be a product of scheduling, if possible, what of the government agencies that people deal with, and let the companies themselves adjust to it because they already are adjusting to it. Wala naman choice Cito yung mga kumpanya kundi mag-schedule because people cannot come to work. Even their shuttle, they cannot come. They don't have a shuttle for people to come at the same time. They have to go back and forth. There cannot be schedules also that does not fit what they have because many are work at home. Many also have different schedulings already on skeleton force depending on the number of days. So it brings a food for thought for companies, but you cannot come up with any formula that will fit everybody. It has got to be each one's to each his own.
Well, on one hand, sir, I actually am happy that the IATF and the cabinet secretaries recognize na kailangan natin yung staggered. But on the other hand, my question is someone in charge? Kasi para itong traffic light eh. Pag naka-yellow tayo, parang suggestion lang na mag-slow down o pumara ka. Pero who is in charge to implement this? Because you yourself said it's a good idea, but someone has to be in charge. And if you make this voluntary, then chances are it's not going to happen.
Well, voluntary in the sense that you come up with a formula
Mhm.
and let the company fit into it. Because everybody is doing their own
Yeah.
formula to be able to cope up with the situation. No? Actually, in a big sense, it is availability of the bus transport that is the problem. And
Okay.
until now, we don't understand why we are doing staggered basis. Why don't we just let all those transport before COVID to come in and adjust from there? We are doing a lot of things now that doesn't make things easy for all. Like we have problem with transport. We came up with beep at this time, and then we want to solve some problems in contacts, and then we come up with RFID. Uh,
Mm.
all these times making life difficult at this time and experimenting on it. When it can come, time will come that it will naturally come.
I guess the logical, I mean, the question I should be asking is, has there been actual consultation on this staggered schedule suggestion or circular? Kasi I've heard time and again na ang IATF lang ang gumagawa ng mga solutions or policies pero walang consultation sa private sector. Have your members, the Employers Confederation, ECOP, or any other organization been consulted on how to go about this staggered scheduling idea?
I don't know about this because I'm not the one who regularly attend IATF. No, there are some
Hmm.
we have representatives there, but I doubt very much because nobody knows much about it except what we read in the paper sometimes. No? Uh, and it's just like Christmas party. It's just like yung prohibition of tournaments in golf. These are things we don't understand.
Okay, now if you were actually asked, what would your idea be? What would your concept of stagger? Because when I spoke to the CEO before of Medical City, he said that dapat iba-ibang schedule tayo para hindi nagsasabay-sabay sa sasakyan, sa traffic, etc. But here, you are saying na yung staggered na nangyayari. What's happening is companies are forced to implement staggered schedules or work hours because people can't reach the office at one uniform time dahil walang masakyan. So napipilitan kayo broken hours. What would you come up with?
Well, as I said, they can come up with formulas and we can look at it and let each company decide which
Mhm.
schedules they would fit on. Do not force a schedule on everybody because again, rather than making it easy for everyone, it makes it difficult for people sometimes who are already adapting to the situation.
Mhm.
Rather than addressing a lot of things like that, why don't they finally open up all the mass transportation? But even that is kulang. That is why they're coming up with more spacing that is questionable to
Yeah.
a lot of people. And bakit nila lang dagdagan yung mga vehicles? Tsaka na lang sila mag-experiment sa sa jeepneys, kung anong gusto nila, sa bus. Huwag ngayon, huwag isabay sa kung ano. Solve muna yung problema ng traffic. Don't you wonder why there is, not everybody's working, 50% lang nagtatrabaho, there is no school, and yet there is horrendous traffic. Don't
Yeah.
everybody brings out whatever vehicle that can run because there is no mass transport.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that. I actually expressed that several times this week to some friends. Na Because everyone is complaining. Hindi naman kasi ako nakakalabas and everyone's complaining of the traffic. And I said, what could possibly be causing the traffic? Wala na ngang mga masyadong open. But the question is, okay, you want more transportation, but the problem is the transport companies themselves don't want to roll out their units. Katulad yung sa provincial buses. We opened up the provincial buses, but the provincial buses did not roll out. Parang sabi nila, pag garayan na lang namin yan, malulugi lang kami.
Because there's a lot of protocols that you have to live with, a lot of regulation, and I think even licensing or even permits to be able to do it. How many times have we said that all the jeepneys should be out and they're not out? Because apparently there's a lot of hurdles that they have to come up with to be able to do it. So, when basically you can just say, okay, sans the ones that are not roadworthy, those who are coloros, and those who cannot comply with the protocols, labas na lahat yung sasakyan ulit. Para wala nang pinag-uusapan sino ba yung pwede, sino yung hindi. And then people hesitate because ang daming regulasyon ginagawa. In the highway, in the, and then you come up with ito yung mga open routes. It complicates a lot of things. And,
But Sir Sergio, doesn't this force us to reevaluate our life? Kasi I understand your frustration as a business person and with ECOP. I fully understand it. But alam mo, my wife just came back from Europe and doon, nagse-second wave na sila. And now they're beginning to really understand why authorities were so panicked and strict in the first wave. And now they're all, dati ayaw nilang mag-mask, dati ayaw nilang masyadong mag-social distancing. Pero ngayon, pati restaurants, bars, shut down na. Kasi they finally realized, ito pala yung second wave, mas malala pala. Our problem, I think, in the Philippines is the potential. We haven't even finished the first wave, and we're still looking down the barrel of a second wave. What about that? Hindi ba panahon na para i-assess natin yung size ng economy natin? Tanggapin na natin that our new future is parang pelikula Back to the Future. Babalik ka sa, sabi nga ng kaibigan kong businessman, Cito, I am now in 1983 business level. Yung napalaki kong kampanya, I am now down to 1983. It's like starting all over again.
Well, Cito,
yes, sir.
By and large, I think the Filipinos have been cooperating with all the protocols. Tayo ng pinaka-longest lockdowns, no? Pinaka-strict sa implementation. Tayo, we never wavered on the fact that we have to wear masks, that we have to do spacing. Yung mga nagsa-second wave, hindi naman sumunod sa mga protocols na yan And yet, nadidinig mo ba yung problema ng transportation sa kanila? Hindi. Sa atin lang yung meron.
Okay. So you're really focused on transportation only. Yun lang ang concern ninyo.
Yes, because a lot of people who were allowing, that is why I didn't really much care whether we are MGCQ or GCQ. Because at the end of the day, you allow people to work, and yet they cannot work. They cannot work. And there's a lot of industries that are allowed to work, but people cannot come in because may mga prohibitions, may mga protocols that prevents them to do so. It's a good thing that we're learning to adjust to sa curfew, and a lot of things, but we are introducing a lot of things that makes it difficult for everybody. Can you imagine the difficulty RFIDs forcing people now? Nung mag-umpisa yung beef, why do we have to do it now? It will come naturally, and yet what you are trying to prevent is precisely what is happening now. Yung talaga ang daming on traffic, ang daming ng queue, ang daming violation of the of the distancing.
Yeah, but are these not acceptable growing pains, sir? Kasi katulad yung RFID, I think you're referring to the expressways, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. I mean, honestly, no, we are on the opposite sides because I've always said if only everybody had an RFID, we won't have kilometers at the toll gates and mas mabilis ang biyahe ng Pilipino. I'm just wondering, hindi ba acceptable growing pain yan and the cost of, of shifting to digital?
It should not be pain added to the problem in COVID. It will
Mhm.
come naturally. It will come
Mhm.
naturally. But can you imagine? You go once in a while outside of Manila,
Mhm.
maybe once every 3 months. You have two vehicles, and lalagay mo pa yung pera mo kung pipila ako rin para because of the deadline. Why don't they just gradually do it? Pareho nung beef, nagkagulo-gulo sa beef na yan, no? Why do they have to do it now? When ang dami ng problema, instead of making life difficult, they're making it very difficult for easy. They're making it very difficult for people.
Yeah.
Why not do it? It will come naturally. It will come naturally.
Mhm.
Uh, the, Forcing the issue, just make can you imagine sa beef? The people will come in to work, pamasahe nila eksakto everyday, naghahanap ng pamasahe. And then you ask them to buy a big card and maglalagay doon. So, pila araw-araw din. Araw-araw pumipila dahil dilensya araw-araw ng pera ang panlagay doon.
Correct.
So, I mean, why not do it in such a way that that it will be easy. It will come naturally. Sito, I'm with you. We have to really go to the, but isasabay mo lahat dito sa problema natin na to. It
Mhm.
doesn't make opening of the, easy.
Mhm.
Opening
Yeah,
of the easy.
I know you're a very reasonable, very patriotic person, but I can also sense your frustration. And I think a lot of people are really frustrated because on one side, we recognize there is a serious threat on our lives, but on the other side, we need to live our lives. Now, ang tanong ko, sir, what is the situation with your organization and among businessmen? Kasi tumatagal humahaba yung ating lockdown, yung ating challenges. This continual extension, how is it impacting business? Are we going to see more businessmen and businesses rising, meeting the challenge? Or are we going to see more businesses just simply folding up and going away? Kasi ako from my side, medyo nalulungkot na akong sabihin, pero 4-0 na ang nadinig ko last week. Well, last week pa lang.
Well, uh, as I said, there's a lot of industry that has been open, supposed to be open, but companies are not yet allowing them to work because of so many problems. Among others, the mass transportation, no?
Hmm.
And why don't we? Sabi ko, I don't really care whether GCQ, basta yung mga allowed and the percentage is allowed, makakapasok. And companies are not guessing. It's so hard to plan if you're guessing what will happen next or what will be the protocols.
Hindi ba kaya siguro may I just saw a video in France. France is now investing money on people to learn how to ride bicycles, giving support or parang fund for people who want to buy bicycles, etc. Can we not simply shift our people to bicycles and motorcycles, sir?
Well, yes, but you know how long the debate is sa angkas lang, haba ng debate yan, no?
Mm.
And if you do the bicycle, you again look at the situation in EDSA, you look saan dadaan ang lanes. What you're saying is, why don't you go back to what is normal before, and then from there you start. Ano ba yung mga kulang? Because they will not be enough. Even if you let all the mass transport come out because of this spacing, it's not enough. So that is where you look for solutions. Kung mo ipapasok yung sa pwedeng bicycle and the likes, no? Hindi yung you come out staggered with mass transport, and then you come out with the solutions that are supposed to make it easy but make it hard for everybody.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Sir Sergio, and please stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong, and we will overcome. Kahit papano, kahit sumimple buhay natin, mabubuhay tayo, kakain pa rin tayong dalawa ng arroz caldo.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm not saying that we do not appreciate why I ate what I was doing. No? I think they're doing a fantastic job under this situation. Pero I think this should be more open-minded to suggestion from our economic managers rather than we are recovery stage. Hindi naman po pwedeng doktor na nag-dictate nung schedule mo sa at hindi pwedeng military rin. It should be the economic managers who should be in the forefront now. Hindi yung alam mo na, yung mga medical natin so long as they can justify that it will be 1% better for health, they will do it. And yet we know how expensive it is and how difficult it is for the population to do it.
Okay. Well, I hope you will join my personal agenda, my campaign, na kalampagin din natin yung DOH and IATF para dun sa price regulation on COVID testing, because I know your members are also affected by the cost of COVID testing na nakakapikon na. Thank you, sir.
Thank you also, Cito.
Okay, that's Mr. Sergio Sergio Ortiz-Luis, and he is the president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines. You can almost touch or you can feel the frustration of Mr. Ortiz-Luis, because siyempre gusto nilang mag-full blast. Pero paano ka mag-full blast? Walang masakyan ng tao. Gusto mong magtayo ng staggered working hours. Wala rin namang point yung staggered kasi may staggered nga, wala ring masakyan. And I don't know, but I don't ride the motorcycle. The only time I had a motorcycle, I got into an accident, but that was because I didn't have the proper training. I didn't have the proper gear. That was back in the 80s. Alam ninyo, baka panahon na nga, because motorcycle riding now and bicycle are safer. Baka dumating na nga tayo sa punto, ito lang ang masakit. Sabi, I remember, I think it was Secretary Artugade who said, I don't want our streets to become like Vietnam na puro na lang motorsiklo. No choice. Pipilit natin itong carousel, itong mga bus, hindi naman mapalabas. Yung mga jeepney, hindi rin mapalabas ng todo because some are not compliant, etc. Medyo ang nangyayari po ay napipilitan na maghanap ng ibang solusyon. And I'm not referring to angkas, no? I'm referring to all of us ultimately, eventually shifting from cars to motorcycles. Kasi ako, like me, I had a talk with one of my friends, and I told my friends, I'm packing it up. Lahat yung mga kotse na yan, yung mga restoration project na yan, ikakahong ko na lahat yan. Tama na. That is a bygone age, and we will limit ourselves to 1-2 cars siguro kung kailangan pang biyahe ng mga gamit. But if I need to, I will start going back on my bicycles. I've got enough bicycles, and that's it. Because it's not going to happen. People are... we can't blame government because they want to protect people. But at the same time, we can't blame business because they want to protect their business also. In any case, speaking of government, business, etc., puntahan po natin ang next guest natin. I hope he's ready already. Pero magbe-break muna po tayo. Quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring in Professor Guido David para malaman natin ano na yung mga resulta ng kanilang current test and totoo ba yung sinasabing mga hotspots. Pag-usapan natin here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran and you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250. Medyo nag-iingat po ako sa bitaw ng salita kasi mukhang may epekto sa akin yung melatonin. Hirap pag tumatanda, mahirap ng matulog ng maayos. In any case, before we bring in our next guest, Professor Guido David, allow me to do a quick recap. 18 LGUs, labing walong local government or mga syudad or areas, probinsya, have been classified as high-risk areas due to high daily caseload, attack rate, or high hospitalization occupancy, according to the OCTA Research. The following local government units were marked as high risk or areas of concern for COVID-19: Pasay, Makati, Pasig, Mandaluyong for Metro Manila, Baguio City, Itogon, Calamba in Laguna, Angono, Cainta, Taytay, Lucena, Quezon, Ilagan, Isabela, Batangas City, General Trias in Cavite, Iloilo City, San Carlos City in Negros Occidental, and Davao City as well as Butuan City. OCTA Research explained that in the analysis of hotspots, it uses the basis the attack rate per 1,000 population for most recent 2-week period. So alamin natin kay Professor Guido David what is going on and yung reaction nila na nagdi-disagree yung Malacanang sa kanilang view na malamang tataas ang bilang number of cases may go up, or there might be a rise in cases as we reduce the distance in public transport. Let's bring in Professor Guido David of the UP OCTA Research. Good morning, Professor.
Yes, good morning, Cito. So,
Yeah, Guido,
nice to be back here.
yeah, Guido, can you just do me a favor? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng OCTA, OCTA?
Actually, si Ranjit dapat tanungin mo. Yes, si Ranjit dapat tanungin dyan because it was his brainchild. Pero basically, OCTA is just the name of the
group. Okay, we seem to be suffering some sort of a delay. Go ahead, Professor David.
Yes. Sorry, naglalag yung internet. Yes, so it's just the name of the group. So sorry, I didn't get the second question.
No, there's no second question. I just wanted you to finish that. But in any case, you've reported or indicated in your update that 18 LGUs are now classified as high risk. I'm sure may mga papalag dyan or magre-react. Ano ang dahilan? What is the basis for putting all these 18 LGUs as high risk?
Yes, and Sito, we understand if may mga nagre-react, may mga pumapalag. As always, these things naman, hindi naman siya set in stone. This is our personal recommendation. Yung mga high risk na na LGUs, we just use the basis na high caseload, high attack rate, and or high hospitalization. Minsan yung high hospitalization occupancy, sole basis na yan for high risk LGU. So yun nga, this is more of our position, pero we based it on studies from other countries din, Harvard studies and sa Germany, that uses attack rate mainly as a basis. Kasi pag attack rate, nakadepend ka sa population, how many people getting infected in your population. Kasi if you just base it on caseload, Quezon City is always number one. So ibig sabihin, hindi na makaalis yung Quezon City sa number one position of being the highest risk, just because it has the biggest population of any LGU in the country. Pero since we base it on population, then mas makikita natin, kumbaga in terms of density, sino yung yun nga, yung pinakamarami na cases. And then for hospitalization, pag puno na yung hospitals, then of course we know that it's high risk in the sense na if someone gets sick, wala na siyang hospital na matutuluyan.
Okay. Now, ito bang mga assessment or na discovery ninyo na share nyo na doon sa mga LGUs or you're just leaving it out there for the public or for anyone to see? Kasi parang I almost can hear some mayors going, Professor naman, ba't hindi mo muna kami sinabihan or winarning kami na nasa high risk na pala kami?
Well, yun nga yung point namin. We can share it directly kasi we don't have access to all the LGUs in the country. And then it would take us a lot of manpower to do that. Just to share to everyone, to get into touch in touch with everyone. So yun nga, this is for public information and dissemination. Wala naman ditong sense of public shaming, and I hope people don't get a sense of that. Ito na nga yung parang sinasabi namin, hey, LGU, ito yung nakikita namin medyo mataas. And yun nga, makikita rin naman natin pag nag-improve yung LGU, nasa list siya, pero natatanggal din naman siya sa list pag nag-improve na siya. So it's just a way of it's our way of parang alerting authorities to what's going on.
These are all primarily numbers based, no? Kasi well, alam mo, in our day and age, Professor Guido, pag sinabi mong high risk, medyo ninervyusin ng tao. I mean, I'm a resident of Pasig. I know our mayor and the city officials are doing a lot to manage COVID-19 here in Pasig City. But, when a report comes out and saying our city is a high-risk LGU, baka nervyusin na yung mga tao. Ano bang point for using that term high risk?
Actually, may mga iba-ibang classifications na ginagamit yung sa iba. Colors lang, color-coded. So green is parang safe and red is parang medyo high alert. I believe ginamit namin yung high risk because ito na yung parang ginagamit ng government. So parang hindi tayo masyado mahirapan sa communication, how to communicate the level of risk sa isang LGU. And hindi naman ibig sabihin high risk. I mean, pag pumunta ka dyan, sigurado ka na magkaka-COVID. It just means there, maybe for someone going to Pasig, kunyari, if I'm from Quezon City, pupunta ako sa Pasig, medyo mas aware ako na if I go to this LGU, medyo the risk of infection may be slightly higher. So, yun nga, minsan yung cut-off dito, dikit-dikit din naman yung mga numbers nila. So, one could be below the cut-off lang ng high risk, pero close to high risk na rin siya. So, we just picked the top 18 na considered yun nga, highest doon sa mga metrics na sinabi namin. And if people disagree, I mean, we're open-minded and we're welcome to taking suggestions. Pero ito yung nakita namin metrics, I mean, we have to start with somewhere. And lalo na as we open provinces, I think the focus is on granular level. So dapat yung mga cities mismo alam nila na, okay, maybe the province is okay, it's relatively safe, hindi masyado mataas yung risk level, pero yung certain city, at least para they can take action. Yung mga ibang LGs nga dito, hindi ko man sila kilala ngayon ko lang sila nalaman. May maasin pala na maasin sa Leyte, for example.
Leyte or Itogon in Benguet.
Itogon, yes.
Yeah. In any case, the next question would be regarding itong pinalagan. Actually, pumalag na si spokesperson Harry Roque regarding I think a statement from OCTA saying na you expect an increase of COVID incidents because of the closer distancing in public transport. And sinabi ni spokesperson Harry Roque, yung aming mga dalubhasa ay mga doktor, alam nila yung sinasabi nila. So parang numbers ka lang at saka doktor mo, PhD mo in numbers, ito may mga PhD in medicine. Parang gano'n na lumalabas eh. Where do you come from? I mean, where are you coming from regarding this? Is there a basis to say na sure na aakyat ang mga number of cases sa mga sasakyan because of closer distance sa sasakyan?
Well, Cito, it's interesting naman yung position ng Malacanang. I mean, and we don't necessarily disagree. I mean, I'm sure may mga experts sila na tumitingin dito. And ako personally, I take maybe a softer view dito. I don't say na I would say I expect na magkaka-increase. I would say there's a risk. Lahat naman na gagawin natin, it carries a level of risk. So
of course.
Right. So every time we change something, so kunyari nasa GCQ tayo and we're on a good track, we're on a downward trend, we have the same protocols, we expect the same downward trend. Whenever we change some of these protocols, there is a risk na the trend will change in its direction or trajectory. So that is my view. So yung reducing uh, physical distancing sa mass public transportation, it carries a risk. It's not necessarily that we expect an increase, but there's a risk of an increase, and that's my position.
Well,
On this.
if I remember correctly, in a previous interview we had, you actually mentioned of a situation or an observed fact that when transport was open, there was a slight increase for a 2 week period, I think, in the number of cases. Because sinasabi ni ito, no, spokesperson Roque also said, di ko po alam sino ang doktor ng OCTA. We're not talking medicine here. We're talking figures, if I'm correct. Didn't you mention that before na there was a time when we opened transport that there was a spike?
Yes, Cito, actually, I did mention that. You're correct. There was an uptick. It was the time na we had a trial run of reducing physical distancing to 0.7 meters, and it was actually only 3 days. But we did observe an uptick in cases. So this is, I mean, we hope na if we get an uptick, it will just be an uptick, hindi a surge, because we will be alerting everyone naman once we observe this uptick. Yung risk dito, syempre, if you reduce and reduce further, mamaya pagtabi-tabi na yung mga tao, of course, it comes with the risk of overcrowding. So yun din naman yung isa sa mga concerns natin. And it has been shown scientifically with studies na overcrowding leads to increased risk of infection.
Okay, right now there has been this debate. I think Senator Ralph Recto was the one who made the point of it, saying na yung mga sinasabing caseloads ngayon ng COVID-19, that's not accurate because Red Cross has not been testing, and Red Cross tests about 30 to 40% of all the caseloads. Kumbaga, ay medyo baka akala nyo gumaganda, hindi gumaganda. I think that's what he was saying. What is the view of OCTA? What is the impact of the Red Cross not doing tests for I think 2 weeks? What will be the impact of that?
Yes, Sita, that's a good question. Yung impact talaga ng Red Cross is malaki talaga yung impact niya sa Philippines. Even sa Metro Manila, the impact of Red Cross testing is 38%. So, kumbaga, nawalan tayo ng 38%, and the numbers reduced by almost as much. Certain LGUs, hindi naman lahat, and we mark them sa reports namin. May mga LGUs tayo na na-observe na which are highly dependent on Red Cross testing. So yung caseloads nila nag-decrease by 50% in 1 week, and we don't expect that kind of decrease in 1 week. It could decrease by mga 10 to 20%, pero yung decrease of 50% is high. So there is kumbaga, the numbers are not underreported, pero well, in a way, it's underreported or understated right now because of yung lack of testing ng Philippine Red Cross. So, kumbaga, when we make projections right now, yung actual numbers, we'll project it to be mga 30.
Okay, I think we have a lag in our. There you go. He's back. Okay, so your projection is around 30. Okay, slight lag there. We will see if we can get. I can hear Professor David. I just can't see him, so we're gonna see. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So it's a very big impact, the Red Cross now. Parang pati yan napag-usapan na OCTA pointed out that there is too much dependence on the Red Cross. Are you suggesting that the Philippine government should, well, I made that suggestion yesterday on my own, that we need to have more RITMs nationwide and more RITMs in Metro Manila, because parang 1.1 billion utang pa lang yun, magkano pa yung magagastos ng gobyerno depending on private laboratories or NGO laboratories like the Philippine Red Cross. So, although I'm glad na at least ngayon, ang Red Cross hindi nakilala sa dugo lang, pati na rin sa COVID testing, no? So your views, please, on the need for more testing capacities on part of government.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there we go again. We have a delay again on the part of the of Professor Guido David, but I think I don't know if he'll manage to come back from that. They're trying, but in any case. Alam niyo po, kung nagtataka kayo, if you're wondering what's going on, well, the OCTA group at UP essentially pointed out that there's 18 local government units na medyo mataas na naman yung kanilang mga incidents relative to per 1,000. Kumbaga, bibilang ka ng 1,000, sa 1,000 ilan ang mayroong COVID cases. So, kasi that is a better comparison because like for number of deaths, pag tiningnan mo yung number of deaths natin, it's already 7,053. Now, the question is, baka sabihin ng tao, ang dami namang namatay. Pero ang population po natin is anywhere between 100 million or 110 million ba? I can't remember. I don't, it's hard to figure out what the actual number is. But in any case, the point is, if they don't do it per million, magmumukhang malaki. So ito, per 1,000, katulad Quezon City, ang laki ng population nila. Di syempre, ang dami rin nilang comparatively maraming case. Pero pag per 1,000, medyo nagiging more realistic. In any case, ayun po, no? 18 LGUs tinamaan, and then mas mataas, and then again, they are calling out or warning us na baka tumaas yung number of cases dyan sa mga sasakyan, sa mga public transport. Kasi na-observe nila yun nung nag-trial run ng 3 days, may konting pagtaas. There was a slight uptick in cases when there was a trial run for public transport. Now, the whole thing here is this, okay? When the spokesperson jumps in and says, no, we disagree, they don't have doctors like this, I mean, maybe we should look at it from the other view. Hey guys, be careful when you ride public transport. Hey guys, ladies, be careful when you are in the bus, especially when you are in jeepneys or in tricycles. That should be the view. Or it should be, thank you to the OCTA Research. It's a reminder to the public that please observe health protocols because in spite of it all, there are still chances of contamination or infection. And hindi yung, ewan ko, mayroon ba silang doktor? Hindi ko alam kung sinong doktor nila sorry, with all due respect, when we start becoming combative in our reaction and then sasabihin, we disagree. Our experts are doctors and they're not doctors. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are there. And the point of mentioning those is for people to be aware. Kasi if you keep trying to contain and promote this notion that all, we're winning this war, etc., well, that's what they did in Europe, in America, and look where they are now. We need to come to terms with the fact that COVID-19 is here and it will probably be here until 2021, if not longer. All this talk about vaccine, I'm sorry, but until it's there, it's not. And for the meantime, the contamination, the infection keeps happening. And if we keep telling people it's safe to take a bus ride, take the train ride, etc., no, we need to be vigilant. This is a war. This is a war against an unseen enemy. It is an enemy that has killed 7,053 Filipinos and counting. Every day, counting. Wag na po na natin, wag na natin awayin yung mga naglalabas ng data. There's the data, there's the assessment. Okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, use it to warn people. Use it to convince people that this is the reason why we are doing quarantine. This is the reason why we are strict. This is the reason, not, hindi, mali yan, hindi, ganito. Sorry, okay? It's the wrong approach. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but medyo, I think we can get a wrap up with Professor Guido David. Is he back? Professor?
Yes, Cito, sorry about my lagging internet,
Okay. Sabi sa iyo, PLDT fiber optic, 100 Mbps. Walang laylay. In any case, Professor, any last words or statement? Wag last words. Any closing statement?
Well, ayun, yes, the pandemic is still here, pero so far we're still seeing a downward trend. Medyo mabagal yung downward trend natin. It's slower than we were hoping it to be. Before we thought or I thought it could be, maybe around Christmas, but baka pa din na tayo mas mag-relax ng ano. I mean, it's true, our businesses are suffering, pero as you mentioned, we cannot solve this without solving the COVID problem. Yung COVID problem is at the heart of this, all this problems natin, and information is important din in this fight. We have to know if we're on the right track, kung tamang trajectory natin, if we're reversing, if places are experiencing surges localized, para may magawa tayo instead of us being completely blind. And ginagawa rin naman to sa other countries. They have to know which places are hotspots or high risk. Now, they may disagree kung anong high risk category, and we can have a discussion with that. Bakit iting cutoff or something. That is our opinion. Pero we did choose yung mga cities which we feel are, compared to others, mas mataas yung attack rate, mas mataas yung hospital occupancy. So that is our basis. I mean, pwede nang sabihin, hindi na masyadong mataas dito. But yun nga, relatively, mas mataas siya kesa sa other places, sa other countries. So at least, information should give us empowerment and allow us to make decisions better, not just for the LGUs, but also for yung common people. Like kung alam natin na, medyo mataas dito, mas mag-iingat tayo in case na kunyari pupunta tayo doon for a staycation or a business travel. At least we're aware and informed.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Professor Guido David. Please continue the good work, and please continue informing the public. Have a great day ahead of you.
Thank you, Sita. Good morning.
That's Professor Guido David of the UP OCTA Research Group. And as he said, information gives us power to make proper decisions, informed decisions. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, we continue with our interviews. Next up, we have the president of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, and we'll find out how are things moving along in terms of the opening up of hotels, etc., here on Agenda. Welcome back to Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250. And I just encourage you to, if you haven't taken up a subscription with Signal and you're still watching us on Facebook, please do get a subscription and get to watch really nice programs on Signal TV. In any case, also a shout out of thank you to our friends at PLDT. Hindi po ito paid advertisement or plug. Wala tayong bayad. I'm doing this voluntarily because malaking bagay po talaga. You know, in this new normal, magpakabit na kayo ng fiber optic PLDT 100 Mbps kasi para hindi lumalayla yung ating mga yung ating mga internet, mga Zoom meeting, etc. Okay, we have a text message here from Idelfonso Bayani. You are right. Numbers form good guides. Also, experiences form informed judgments. Ayun lang po. Wala naman tayong inaaway. Wala tayong kinakampihan. Kanya lang, kailangan we need to know what the facts are, what the data is, what the numbers are, so that we can make proper decisions on our finances, on our activities, and, you know, what our future, however long or short it may be. In any case, let's find out from the president of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association what has been the effect, the impact of the announcement of government, the IATF, and subsequently the DOT, that hotels can now open up to as much as 100% subject to the health protocols and requirements of local government units in their area of responsibility. Let's bring in Christine Ibaretta, President of HSMA. She's also the Director of Sales and Marketing for Golden Phoenix. Christine, good morning.
Good morning, Cito. Good morning.
Okay, so what has been the impact of the announcement na open doors na for hotels, pwede na kayong magbukas as much as 100% if kaya? What is the initial reaction and what's happening on the ground?
We are very, very happy when it was announced by the Department of Tourism. We're happy to open the doors for our, let's say, OFWs for quarantine hotels. But then, open siya, but not for, it doesn't mean that it's open also for the employees to come back all at the same time. Because hindi kakayanin ng revenues that are coming in. Hindi kaya ng revenues ng hotels if lahat sila papabalakin. So slowly but surely, bumabalik yung mga like my personal staff here in the hotel. Siguro na nagpadagdag akong 2 or yung ibang departments 3, but not everyone kasi hindi kaya. But then we are happy that we can open at full occupancy.
Okay, now you mentioned OFW kasi actually niloloko ko nga yung misis ko. She just came back from the Netherlands and she's now in quarantine in one of the local hotels here. Pag quarantine hotel ba, how much does the hotel get compared to regular revenue or regular rates? Pag OFW or quarantine, ano ba ang rate?
For example, in a regular hotel, 3-star hotel, dating rate at published rate mga 7,000. Tapos, ngayon, you get it at half the price. Or, you know, if it's OFW, merong mga rates na, half the price. Pero kasama na yung breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's packed meals. It's delivered to your door. Kasi syempre, contactless tayo. So sobrang baba ng rate because this is one way of helping out the government also for kasi naman ROF or returning overseas Filipinos tsaka yung OFW, mas lalo na yung OFW, mas mababa ang rate because the government pays for it. Yung OWA ang nagbabayad.
Okay, so but does this help the hotels? Kumbaga, does it help you guys keep your head above the water or talo pa rin pambayad kuryente na lang, etc.
It's helping the hotels survive. Kasi survival muna tayo ngayon eh. We have a little bit of profit, but not unlike the previous operations that we had.
Yeah.
Merong kita, pero zoom in namin yung kita. Ibig sabihin, hindi ganun kalaki. Pero nakakatulong kasi we provide employment for the employees,
Yeah.
yung mga ano natin, room boys or mga F&B staff or even sales and marketing people. At least na-employ kami kasi there was a time 2 months kaming sarado. Talagang wala kaming sweldo. Saan namin kukunin yun? And we still get service charge. Kasi we still provide the service. Hindi na-delay yung mga sweldo namin. May pambayad pa rin kami to get by.
Okay, so I'm assuming that this pronouncement or announcement of the IATF and the DOT na pwede nang magbukas is very welcome news. Pero nag-react ba? Is there a positive response from your customers, from the public? May mga nagpuntahan na ba ulit sa mga hotels or naghihinta o nag-wait and see pa rin?
Because there are 2 classifications now. We have staycation hotels. These are the 10 hotels, the 3 Shangri-Las, the hotels at the City of Dreams, Okada, so Joy Nostalgia. So yun yung 10 hotels na open for staycation. Meaning, walang OFWs doon na allowed, tsaka returning overseas Filipinos. Marami naman, based on our interviews with the Director of Sales, medyo paunti-unti, there are some Filipinos who are doing staycations. Yeah.
But when you say staycation, Christine, does that mean you get to go to the pool, get to go to the casino, etc.? Kasi sabi ko, parang, yeah, nice, a nice suggestion. Pero if I'm just going to end up staying in my room or sitting on in a restaurant with no people in it, parang, why bother? What is the actual situation for staycation?
It's open. They can use the pool, they can use the restaurants because wala nga silang ina-accommodate na OFWs and returning overseas. So before they even check in, they have to do antigen test, and then prior reservation is required, and then hindi pwedeng a walk-in. Dapat may test before they enter. So to ensure that talagang maayos at sanitized, hygienic yung place. We are strictly implementing the guidelines, or else mawawalan kami ng mga lisensya or certification for accommodation.
Oh, okay. Now, gaano meron na bang uptick? Do you have numbers already on the first week of the opening?
Wala pang reports, but we are planning to do it within the week to ask the Director of Sales and Marketing of our member hotels na kasama dun sa 10 staycation hotels. And we will be glad to update you, Sir Cito.
Yeah. What about the non-staycation hotels? So, what's their situation, especially yung mga outside Metro Manila?
For outside Metro Manila, yung Batangas, I believe, medyo nagpipick up na. There are people going to the beach. They want to be using the beach and together with their family. Mga open air establishments, yun yung medyo mabenta ngayon. Kasi
Yeah, you know, Christine, I was wondering about that. In fact, someone had mentioned that to me just the other day. Sabi sa akin, Kuyang, why is it that the Filipinos have not picked up on al fresco ba yung tawag nila doon?
Yes.
Outdoor dining, opening up the pools. Kasi katulad maraming hotel sa Metro Manila, ang lawak ng pool area in the provinces. Sabi niya, nobody wants to stay in the room, but there is no active promotion of al fresco activity or outdoor activity.
kasi mga Pilipino mahilig ayaw pawisan. Ayaw mag
I knew you were going to say that. Ayaw umitim, ayaw pawisan.
kaya nga may gluten tayo, 'di ba? But then yun nga, unlike in other countries or the foreigners coming into the Philippines, grabe sa labas sila, ayaw nila mag-aircon. Even our, let's say, Chinese bosses or guests, ayaw nila mag-aircon. Pinapapatay yung aircon. They want to be outside, yun, and enjoy siguro what do you call this, hindi pa masyadong clear yung air. Pero ngayon, because of this lockdown, medyo okay na tayo. So, pwede ng alfresco. And we will promote that. Thank you also for reminding us.
Yeah.
Like City Hotel in Manila, ganyan. Maraming mga 5-star hotels na, or even mga 3 or 4-star, ang dami nilang open spaces. So, ganun ang gawin natin.
What if I'm not intending to stay in the hotel, pero I just want to dine or swim doon sa may swimming pool or whatever, pwede ba yun? Or talagang ngayon mas mahigpit lang talaga na either you check in or you don't, no other option?
I believe the dining is allowed, but hindi pwede yung swimming kasi dapat you have to be checked in to use the facilities of the
So pwede kaming bumisita doon sa mga favorite restaurants namin sa mga hotel kasi maraming viewers ng agenda, I know, yan yung mga pag Sunday dadalhin nila yung mga apo nila kakain sa restaurant or Chinese or whatever, or Italian cuisine. Parang most people have no idea about this. What is the protocol?
They can just go direct. They have to make reservations at that particular restaurant, and then sasabihin na lang naman ng hotel kung anong kailangan. Tapos be ready with your QR code, QR reader kasi contactless na ngayon. When you order, dapat naka QR code yung mga menu. Like for example, in a hotel in Pasay, nagstay ako doon because mahina yung internet ko sa bahay. And nagpa-interview ako doon sa hotel na yon, and they allowed us. Tapos na-QR code lang ako to order my menu. Tapos yun. And then we pay the bill. QR code rin. And if you want to pay via credit card or debit card, that's allowed. And maganda nga yun kasi hindi tayo nagkakahawaan. We don't want a spike in this COVID na naman.
Ayan na sinasabi ko para mo akong pinatamaan kasi hindi pa ako marunong gumamit ng tinamaan ng ewan na QR code na yan at saka yung mga digital. so no choice na talaga kami. We have to shift completely to digital if we want to eat in the restaurants, if we want to go to the hotels. Matanong ko lang, Christine, does HSMA have resort members also or puro hotels lang talaga kayo?
Hotels and resorts. We have 155 member hotels from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So tawag ka lang kung anong hotel ang gusto mong puntahan. We may ask the kind director sales and marketing to upgrade you. Diba? Tulad nila Miss March sa Blue Water.
Nako, wala. Alam mo naman ako na dedicated ako to agenda kanya hindi tayo makaalpas. In any case, so resorts are also open, and if our viewers want to go to the resort, pati sa beach pwede na kasi for the longest time that was an issue, parang unless it's an open area hindi ka pwedeng maglakad dun sa dalampasigan, and it was such a turn off for many Filipinos.
Yeah, pwede na natin i-enjoy yung ini-enjoy ng mga foreigners, yung bakasyonan nila, dito tayo nakatira, di ba? We have to take advantage of the natural resources, the beach, the lakes that we want to go to. Nakakaingit, gusto kong puntahan lahat Kasi
Okay.
parang puti-puti na natin lahat.
Christine, may complaint dito tungkol sa pagkain daw kasi parang na-alter ang mga menus ng mga hotels and restaurants because of COVID pandemic. Kumbaga, because of the reduced number of customers, maraming hotels daw o restaurants ang nag-reduce din ng offering sa pagkain. Is this true for your members as well? And if so, is there a plan to restore the original lineup of food?
Um, we're talking about, let's say, buffet in a famous restaurant. Ngayon, it's called managed buffet. Di ba before, tayo yung sumasandok ng pagkain. We're
Mhm.
allowed to get it. Now, it's served or assisted
Mhm.
by a staff. So let's say you want a salad. So they'll give it to you, hindi na ikaw yung pwedeng kumuha. They assist you and it's called managed buffet. Let's say meron namang isang restaurant dito sa Manila na um upo ka lang tapos bigyan ka ng menu and then you choose eat all you can pa rin. Let's say gusto mong
Mhm.
chicken, 1 kilong chicken, bibigyan ka nila ng chicken, different kinds of chicken. So hindi na ikaw para to avoid the
Contamination.
ano,
Oh.
oo, mm.
Well, kailangan ko bang COVID tested ako or antigen test ako if I'm just going to eat at the restaurant?
Hindi naman. You're
Okay.
allowed to go. You're allowed to go. Prior
Okay.
reservation pa rin is required kasi they,
Ayun.
safe 6 ang tawag nila, safe 6. May distance na you have to follow.
Yeah, you have to wear the mask, the social distancing,
Shield.
washing, etc., face shield, etc.
Sabi nga
Uh,
namin, nag-memorize na namin itong lahat ng protocols eh.
okay, pero paano kunyari isang pamilya kami? Do we have to sit in a socially distanced setting or meron bang mga parang cubicle na okay, dito pamilya Beltran, doon pamilya Ibaretta, no? Di ba?
Yes.
Ibaretta, etc. Kasi parang that was an issue with some people. They said, look, we all live in the same house. Do we have to be socially distanced in a restaurant?
Yes, we still have to do that.
Mhm.
To protect ourselves kasi we're still together but
Mhm.
away. Together but away. We're together pero socially distanced but we're not in our own house para maiba naman ng ambiance or setting, but we have to follow it as of now.
Mhm. Okay. Anything else? Any last announcements? Kasi maraming tao hindi nakaka-catch up sa mga offers, sa mga promos, etc. I'm sure you guys have promos and stuff like that.
Yes, we'd like to invite everyone, all the Filipinos. Ang sabi ko nga, hindi yung ibig sabihin magiging patriotic, magkikipagbaka ka. Piliin natin ang mga hotels na Filipino and let's support the local products where Filipino, use Filipino hotels also and let's support tourism by if we have the money, go to the hotels and enjoy naman kasi sobrang depressing yung mga sitwasyon. Let's just be happy and joyful there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Christine, thank you very much for joining us this morning. At least may updates na medyo maluwag-luwag na and we look forward to your update regarding kung mga marami nang pumupunta sa hotel and we really pray to God that your customers come back and enjoy at least kahit initially yung mga restaurants man lang and yung beach resorts, no? So, thank you for joining us this morning, Christine.
Thank you very much too.
Okay. Yan po si Christine Ibaretta, President, Hotel Sales and Marketing Association. Alam nyo, dati parang sarap-sarap magtrabaho sa hotel, ang sarap ng buhay nila, etc. I've been in tourism. Okay, I built two resorts. One was Discovery Paradise. Dati tawag namin dyan Club Paradise. And then we put up a 4-bedroom bed and breakfast. Whether it's a small operation or a big operation, mahirap po. Wala kang time out, wala kang bakasyon, and then ikaw yung mataas ang posisyon, pero utusan ka ng bisita. So, yun palang pahirapan na. And then, of course, there's always this issue about supplies. There's this issue about schedules, weather, etc. Ang nagiging problema po ng marami ngayon, walang customer. Dati, overloaded tayo sa customers. Ngayon, walang customer. So, as Christine pointed out, now that the gates have been opened, now that certain protocols are put in place, we can slowly, cautiously, but safely try it out. Kumbaga, if you love the Peking duck at so and so restaurant, if you love the pizza at so and so restaurant, kahit na paano, I think you're entitled. I think we're all entitled to take a break from all of this and just have a nice meal or have a nice drink. Tas okay na yun. Then uwi ka na. And then after, when you feel the need again, balik. So that little by little, we can just all, because iniisip nyo, isa lang naman ako sito, ano ba mangyayari sa isang tao, isang pamilya? Kayo ang bumibilang pa isa-isa. But, if in Metro Manila, ilang milyon ba tayo? Sabihin mo na lang yung sa 1,000,000, 100,000 maglabasan this weekend papunta dun sa mga hotel, baka mabuhayan ng loob yung mga kababayan natin. And that is, I think, what we need to do. Refresh ourselves, but also refresh others. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Yun po, nasa Bible. Yung tumutulong para mabuhayan ng loob yung iba, sila mismo mabubuhayan din ng loob. Let's refresh each other. Let's support each other. Let's go to Filipino hotels and restaurants and buy local. And let's just basically take a break from all of this COVID-19. Okay, that's all for today. I'm Cito Beltran. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great day. May God bless all of you. Remember, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. May the Lord refresh you, bless you, and guard you, and bless your family. Have a great day. That's Agenda for today.
The latest on that one. At the same time, which industries